Hey there, everybody! Welcome to our Dancing with the Stars Season 29 premiere review, where there comes a time at certain parts of our careers where we ask some serious questions of ourselves, and I think for me, it was about 3 minutes before the end of this episode. I'm watching Carole Baskin do some, thing on the floor, and I'm just like,
Yeah, it was a lot like that.
what am I doing with my life? I think that's the question that really started to come in, and I had a bit of an existential crisis.
Yeah, there were some moments there I was maybe feeling a little bit the same.
What is this show? What? We don't even have Tom anymore to try to guide us through any of this.
Oh, we need to talk about the Tyra of all of this.
We have, weird piping crowd music that was, going off at the wrong times. I was, trying to hear the judges, and it was, all in the background.
Yeah, there were some good moments here in this show, but there were some questionable things happening.
We will try to be your guide through a lot of this. We will talk about the performers, the hosting, I don't even know what this is, but we're going to talk about it.
Yep.
Before we do, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more, and if you do want to support us further, check those links to the store and also our Patreon, where there's a number of different benefits while we're checking out.
I miss Tom.
This is the thing. It's I wanted to give Tyra a chance because I know a lot of people were really jumping all over this, and I was just like, okay, it's not Tyra's fault that she was hired for this and she's coming on after Tom. It's just, Tom has just such a levity about him, and there were times when, Carrie Ann was sort of stumbling over what she was trying to say, and, Tom would come in there with a one-liner or something, and it's just, I missed that humor a lot throughout the show.
It felt like either Tyra was quite nervous. I'm sure she saw the backlash online. She couldn't, there's no way for her not to see that. She's said she's a fan of the show. I believe her, so she may have some nervousness as well as trying to fill in Tom's shoes that she's on a show that she really enjoys. The flow just wasn't going tonight for whatever reason. We'll call it first night jitters. We'll see how she does next time, but the flow was really off.
It was weird, and I think Tyra was a part of it. I think the lack of an audience was probably a part of it, and I missed Lynn as well. No offense to Derek. Lynn's just so cranky, and I love how they went to Lynn during the show. It's like 2 a.m. in the UK. Obviously that was not live, no matter how they tried to frame it.
I missed Len, but I really like Derek, so, I was enjoying it.
I appreciated his adoration for Nelly, among other things.
Me too, because I felt the same way when he was just like, I just want to come up and shake your hand. I'm like, me too.
Well, okay, we'll try to get through this real array of performers. Some good, some I have completely forgotten about already.
All right, well, we'll start with AJ.
Welcome to the Bald Brotherhood, AJ. I was like, wait, when did AJ not have hair? I mean, don't get me wrong here, AJ. I feel you, but he was fine. I was like, okay, he's starting the show. I kind of expected him to be a little bit better, if I'm honest, because he's used to performing and kind of moving around.
Yeah, he was okay. I mean, he jumped down those stairs, and I thought he was going to fall over at the bottom there, but he seemed to, pick himself back up again and get through the dance, and I wasn't too surprised that they put him at the start of the show, because he's going to go through. That fan base is there for him, so they can put him anywhere, and it just won't matter.
How can you give Nelly his own song? You don't give AJ a Backstreet Boys song. What gives?
Well, Nelly even said that it was kind of weird dancing to his own song, and I was really glad that he was that sort of honest about it.
I appreciate that, Nelly. AJ, you're fine. You're going to go through. We don't have to worry about you.
Okay, let's talk about the Chrishell of it all, because she got robbed tonight, and it was really irritating to see that happen, because she was not as bad as the scores that they gave her. For someone with no dance experience, I thought she did a great job, and she was having fun with it, and boo judges. That was not all right. I'm not into it. What's happening here?
It's the first tinfoil hat moment of the season. I think because Chrishell went too early in the show, I think the judges, they didn't know who else was going to be coming. You guys should have assumed that because you had Carole and Oak coming up later that you were going to get some not great dancing. It's just like, Chrishell is not as bad as Charles Oakley. Chrishell is not as bad as Carole Baskin.
No.
This was at least a 15, and I'm worried because I think, I love Chrishell, fellow Big Brother fan, and, I haven't seen a lot of Selling Sunset, but I want to see her stick around, and I'm worried.
Chrishell feels like the type of dancer that I like on the show, who is coming in with no experience, and I can see that she can improve each week, because those are the types of people that I like to root for.
Vernon Davis is a guy who I think he came across kind of well, likable. I think the problem is I have seen so many football players on this show, especially ones that are like wide receivers, and I think he's a tight end, so it's kind of similar. It just... he kind of gets lost amidst, like, all of those other, like, mashup of football players that I've seen. But he seemed nice enough, and he was a decent enough dancer.
Yeah, he was a decent dancer. He seemed like he was having fun, and that's what I like.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. And it's not an insult to Vernon Davis that there's not that much more to say about him. But it was just like he came in, he danced, he did his thing. But he's no Anne Heche in terms of, like, her popping off the screen here.
She really did.
I'll say this. I just saw her on Chicago PD this past season. It feels like that was a totally different person than the person who Anne Heche apparently actually is, which is like 100 miles an hour, like all over the place.
Her energy really does pop off the screen.
I had no idea this is what Anne Heche was actually like in real life.
No, and she's a great dancer.
I liked her. I like that she kind of called Keo the king. I don't get it, but at the same, I think Keo actually has like some royalty connections or whatever. But Keo always gets stuck with like people who never do well. So this could be your chance, Keo.
Oh yeah, it could be.
All right, Jeannie Mai. I think she was probably one of the bigger surprises of the night overall.
I didn't know anything about her. I had never heard her name before this show, and I ended up just loving her. I love her. I thought she had this like great energy about her. I loved her dance. I loved how much fun she was having. I ended up just really loving her.
Isn't this the fun of Dancing with the Stars sometimes, though, is that, we always sort of get like, oh, I don't know this person or that person. And I know Jeannie does have fans. I wasn't too familiar with her outside of her name and what she's been on. But I did come across really, really liking her through this one episode. I think she is a good dancer, and she doesn't feel like such a ringer where I have to like raise these questions in my head of like, okay, how many secret dance practices did you have before the season started?
Yeah.
I feel all right with her right now.
Yeah.
All right, Jesse Metcalf. Jesse is there. I don't know how many times we need. It's just, okay. Maybe I'm just jealous because it's like, they kept like introduced, and here is Heartthrob, Jesse Metcalf. It felt like that was actually like his secret first name. It was like, they apparently do not want you to know anything about Jesse Metcalf other than that he is physically attractive.
Yeah, I mean, he was okay. He was a good dancer and fine, and, but I didn't make the same connection with him that I'm sure his other fans out there are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been in stuff other than Desperate Housewives. I know that was on this network, but it was like, the way they had this package together, it was like, congratulations, Jesse, you have not done anything in your career for like the past decade. And it's like, I know that is not the case. You're on like Chesapeake Shores or something.
Okay, Sky Jackson, I loved her. She's so small. And I love that Alan was basically like this proud dad at the end that was like patting her on the back and like, yeah. And I was just like, this is so wholesome, these two. I just really like this partnership. I think she's a really great dancer, and she's so cute.
I think she's going to be a contender. She's got all the like, all the Disney Channel people are out there, but I'm assuming there's probably a bunch of kids who are maybe watching it with their parents who are big fans of what she's done, and maybe the parents are going to want to vote for her, and she did come across really likable, really wholesome, really, really good dancer. I think at this point, Alan, he's on a good little run right now on Dancing with the Stars. I think he's going to be around for a while here. Yeah. Caitlin Bristow, I know she's already had a lot of dance experience. It's hard for me to separate all of that.
She has a lot of dance experience, and with this group, there were a lot of people that were saying, I've never danced before. I have very little dance experience. So I was really excited with how many people don't have dance experience because, like I said with Chrishell, I really like people that don't have much experience or have none, and then I get to watch them grow each week and get better and better. And Caitlin has a lot of dance experience, and you can see it.
I think she is really good, and I can't. There's a part of me that's like, okay, do I not want to support her as much? But then I'm like, I spent like all of last year shouting about Kel Mitchell, which I'm pretty sure had dance experience too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm all over the place with it. I think Caitlin did come across well on the episode. I think she did deliver a really, really good first routine. I feel like there was a little bit of the judges being like, don't get ahead of yourselves here.
Yeah.
We're gonna paint a story so that those 30s later on that you're gonna feel more effective. They don't want to give it to you right away.
Okay, Neve, he was my favorite of the night.
Wow.
I loved this number, but I'm really sort of lost in that time period in general, sort of that feeling of in the past and the sort of glamour of Hollywood, and I got kind of all swept away in it. And I think that he's really good, and I think they were really good, and I felt really bad for him when Tyra was kind of like, your wife is watching with the kids at home, what do you have to say? And I was just like, where is this going? And then he's just like, I still love you the most. I'm like, okay, this whole thing is getting super weird now, man.
Yeah, why are you gonna do Neve like that? Like, I just learned during
weird.
I just learned during the show how to pronounce his first name, so that shows you about how much I'm not super familiar with him. I know Catfish, obviously. I wouldn't say it's my favorite of the night, but I think he was. I'm not saying he was bad. I think he was very, very good and polished. I think there's potential there. I just got
favorite of the night, and I love Catfish.
Yeah, I just got to get to know him better. I don't have the pre-show bias with Neve. We'll see.
Johnny Weir. I also love Johnny Weir. He brought everything that I was hoping he was going to bring tonight.
If I had to party with one person on this season,
so
Johnny.
Nelly.
What is happening here? Johnny, I love Johnny Weir. Johnny, he probably, I don't know if he was my favorite, but he's up there.
He's up there.
He's just, I love his style. I love his personality. He's just so creative and interesting, and I'm gonna be so mad if people get rid of him soon, because if he gets to like the freestyle, he's gonna like come out dressed in I don't even know what. You just keep him for the freestyle, people. If you take Johnny Weir's freestyle away from me, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Johnny's got fans. Johnny's gonna stay.
Justina Machado, man, she was the biggest surprise of the night for me.
She is my second favorite of the night. She just lit that floor on fire. I love her. I loved her in 6 Feet Under. I loved her here as well. She's so great.
Yeah, I think just technically, dance-wise, probably my favorite of the night, just because I love their energy. I love their passion. She just seems so excited to be there. And it's like one of the things that I keep thinking over in my head is, you're the star of One Day at a Time, a show that's currently still on the air. So, like, you don't have to do this, Justine. Like, I just feel like she must really want to be here and doing this. And I don't know why. I just respect her so much for that.
Oh, I was surprised that they landed her, to be honest, because she is a really big star. So I'm really glad she's on the show. She's doing great.
Okay, it's time for an ongoing segment, which may not last very long. It is called In the Treehouse with Oak, which I just literally just made up, where I'm going to extol the virtues of Charles Oakley.
You were so excited about him being on this season.
Legendary Toronto Raptor Charles Oakley. Actually, he wasn't really with the Raptors for that long, but I am not associating you with the Knicks. The Knicks deserve no association to anything. They're terrible. Okay, Charles Oakley actually did play for the Knicks when they were kind of good, but it doesn't matter. Oak. I will not say anything bad about you ever, because I love, by the way, that they introduced him as an enforcer, which is basically code word for if you foul the star player, he's coming for you.
That's right.
Oh, this was like a kinder, gentler Oak. I feel like this was Oak after maybe he's just like chilled out for a while and maybe done some meditation. He's not good.
He's not good, But I loved how much fun he was having, and there are people who are on this show over the years that are just not good dancers, but you can see how much fun they're having and how much they want to be there, and he's one of those guys.
Okay, Oak, I'm gonna give you a message. Like I gave Kel messages last season. So Oak, I know you're watching this 15 minutes into this video. So here's what I know you're tall. I'm not as tall as you, but I'm tall-ish. So when you're tall,
You're pretty tall.
You know you got a resistance sometimes to going big because you want to kind of make people feel okay. You don't want to remind them always of just how like massive you are, but. You gotta, like, really extend those arms. You got the whole ballroom. Don't just be kind of, like, in here. Be like, I'm Oak, fear me.
Look at you giving dancing experience. Your best dance is the octopus.
I don't go big enough with the octopus either. But
Oak, do not listen to us, please.
My advice is probably not great, but I feel like you're probably only going to be there a couple weeks anyway. So come on, Oak.
It's always tough with basketball players. I mean, there's such a height difference. But for some reason, I don't know why, I actually thought he was going to be way better than this.
I did not.
I did.
I think it's because, I don't know. It's like the football players, for some reason, are always pretty good. And then the basketball players are always awful.
I know, and I thought he was going to come on and break that.
Dirk Nowitzki, if you're out there, if you come on Dancing with the Stars someday, don't take lessons from Oak. All right, Monica. Now we go from someone I'm probably too familiar with to someone who I still don't really have any idea who she is. She kept introducing herself as like head coach, and I guess she is. It's just, she's a cheerleading coach, right?
Yeah, it seems like the series on Netflix. Yeah. I'm not familiar with it, and I'm also not familiar with her. She's a good dancer, but I wasn't making the connection, and I think it's because she is a cheerleading coach. That's something that I'm not familiar with, so I'm trying to make that connection with her, and I'm hoping if she sticks around that next week I'm going to get to know something different about her that I can make that connection with.
My fear is, like, if she gets out of this competition in, like, a month or so, if we fast forward into, like, a year, I don't know if I would have any recollection that she's on this show at all, and I think she just wasn't memorable to me at all tonight.
Nelly. Okay, listen, I'm a Nelly fan.
Yeah.
I was so excited. They're playing all the music, and I'm not going to sing it here, but I was dancing in my seat, and I was so happy to have him on the show. And, you know, he's not the best dancer, but he's certainly not the worst dancer. He's not Carole Baskin bad or anything like that. I love that he did a backflip, and he worked within what he was able to work within, and it worked for him.
Okay, Nelly, so, you know, we
Watching him throw all that imaginary money in the air?
Yeah.
This is two nerds doing
Yeah, I know. We are cool, everyone.
Nobody's watching anymore. We're 17 minutes in.
Hey, we took a ride with Nelly. You know, it wasn't too hot in here. We got to enjoy it.
Okay.
It wasn't just a dream. And ultimately, I could watch this over and over again. That's right, Nelly. 4 song title drops in one sentence. I did my research. I forgot some of these songs. I've listened to a long time. He was probably my sentimental favorite of the night. Like, he wasn't great,
he was.
But I loved the flip he did. I loved the money. It just felt like he was kind of really into it. But also, you know, move around a little. Listen, you're not that tall. You can't be doing the tall man thing. You got to, like, go for it, Nelly.
Oh, Nelly, please also don't listen to Matt.
I am trying to help here. I thought about taking a ballroom dance class once in college. That kind of counts for something.
I really like Nelly. I'm so glad he's on this show.
Okay, we got to talk about Carole Baskin, I guess. We've made it to the end of this.
We did. And I think she did sort of the best that this is what I expected, I feel, for not knowing anything about Carole except for that she was on Tiger King. I have not seen Tiger King. Yeah. But sort of when they started showing the beginning package of who she is and sort of her life and whatever, I wasn't expecting a lot of dance, especially from the package where she's in the VR and trying to move around stuff. I was like, oh no.
This was weird. All of it was weird. All the cat stuff during the routine was weird.
Strange.
I don't know if this is starting to go into like some Kafka metamorphosis where she's going to transform into a cat midway through. I'm just like, she's not good. I was just kind of uncomfortable watching it. I'm kind of uncomfortable, to be honest, with the idea of her even on this show. I fear for her. I fear just for the idea of, I don't want to watch Carole Baskin for another month. I'm sorry. I don't.
And I don't think you will, because this is the thing about Carole. Like, everybody except you and me have watched Tiger King out there. But as far as people who are like, yeah, I'm a super fan of Tiger King, or I'm a super fan of Carole, I don't know where those people are. And I don't know that there's a lot of those people out there. So I just don't know that if she's wasn't going to be an amazing dancer, that now I'm kind of like, okay, well, now I'm a lot more worried. And the fact that they put her last tells me that they clearly want her to stay, but they're worried about her because she can't dance, and I don't know where that fan base is.
I'm about to be Johnny Weir skating on thin ice right now, so I gotta here we go. Good and careful with this.
Yeah.
Out of all the things to be known for, Carole Baskin, you are known for Tiger. If the one thing you're sort of known for is one thing that, let's just say, does not paint you in the most favorable of lights all the time, I don't know how that bodes for you getting votes on Dancing with the Stars. That is all I am saying.
Yeah, I just don't know. But this is Dancing with the Stars, and every year they like to either bring on someone super controversial, which is Carole, or a political figure, which I'm really glad that they didn't bring on. I don't want any political figures. I don't care where you land in that whole field. Don't come on this show and take the show away from me. I can deal with Carole.
Okay, let's hear from you guys. Who did you like the best? Who did you not like at all? Who do you think is going to be eliminated first? Save Charles Oakley, save Chrishell Stause. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe. Support us further by checking the links in the description to the store or Patreon. And we'll see you here next time.